What's good, people? It's the content blurs. What's going on? How y'all doing
What's
out there?
What up? What up? What up?
what's going on?
What's going on? So, hey, we here to talk about it. WandaVision, episode 6. First of all, we got to introduce my man T Will 904, my guy Trey. We always talk about this stuff. We might as well just throw him on as well. Uh, we're here to talk about WandaVision, but Trey, let people know what T Will, I'm sorry,
No, you
904,
good.
let people know who you are, just some background on like what kind of geek culture that you're into and, stuff like that.
Pretty much, Trey, I'm from Jacksonville. I definitely watch all MCU, Star Wars, Game of Thrones, pretty much anything with a little bit of excitement and a little bit of creativity into it. I'm all for it.
Kaza P, what's going on, bro?
So it's like, guys.
You had a new pickup. Show the people what pickup that you just brought in.
So I just got this today. It's not like the newest release, but just picked up Thunderstrike. I do collect Marvel Legends, DCU, all that good stuff, like series. HH figure art. So I'm always adding new stuff to my collection.
Yes, sir. Definitely. And then Delta Kilo, what's going on, bro?
Yo, what's up, everybody? But before we get into anything, make sure y'all hit that subscribe button right down there. Hit that like button and hop in the comment section so we can continue the conversation after the video.
Big facts. All right, so let's get into it. WandaVision episode 6.
Yes, sir.
Let's start with T Will. Like, what were your thoughts just on this episode?
Man, I feel like they gave us a lot, but they didn't give us enough. As far as like giving up like the secrets of where the show is actually going. Man, it was like a lot of little things that kind of stuck out to me, which kind of added more to like the mystery of what's really going on out here. So, man, but it was probably my favorite show that we've had this season.
Yeah, I think for this one, there was a lot of surprises, a lot of different things I think that you could take away from it. The first thing that I'll say is for those who may not know, or if you're looking for spoilers, if you haven't watched it, this is your time to exit now. So if you don't want to hear anything that I'm about to say, you don't want to spoil the episode, this is your cue to take an exit now. I'm gonna say that this was the episode where Vision tried to break out of the Hex, right? The Hex is this world that everyone in WandaVision is within. Generally, this is what she's kind of created. This is what she's in control of. There are people that were a part of the town of Westview that have been put into this town. And unbeknownst to them, well, some people do know, but unbeknownst to them, they're being controlled and have to play a role in this town. Wanda and her family are there. Their 2 sons are there. Quicksilver just showed up last episode, which is kind of wild because obviously we thought in Age of Ultron he passed away. Obviously we got the Fox version of him, but it seems like it's not. Maybe it's just the actor from Fox. It may actually be the MCU version, just in a different appearance. But the thing that happened on this is Vision has been realizing something is off about this, right? I got to get out. That's what this episode was about. But what was interesting is with Monica Rambeau, they have said that the Hex, her entering and leaving and going back in, has started to change her DNA. And when they said that, I'm like, okay. At first, it didn't make that much sense to me, right? I heard that part, and I'm like, okay, she's supposed to be Photon. That makes sense. The other side of it that I didn't think until talking to T. Will after the show was, does that mean that they're making mutants? People that have the mutant gene, is it being activated? Like, she still hasn't started to turn or anything. I think it's taken her. She's been in it, I think, maybe 2 times. This will be possibly her 3rd. So that was interesting. And then obviously with Vision almost trying to get out and almost dying because him trying to leave started breaking down his body, she decided to expand it, right? But in expanding that, she brought in all of these other people that were not in Westview in there. And I just thought that was a nod to, okay, is this how we're going to get mutants? Everyone that was inside of that radius that she moved it out to, are they going to become mutated? Delta, what were some of your takeaways just from this episode? That was one of the major takeaways from me, but what were some of the takeaways for you on this episode?
So, I think in this universe this is Marvel MCU version of the machine, the mutant amplifier, right?
Right.
And this is what they're going to use in order to create more mutants, even though there are mutants already there from a genetic standpoint. But this is going to be the catalyst for like the mutant amplifier and whatnot, right?
Right.
So, and the thing is here, what I'm noticing from Wanda is this is obviously going to lead into the multiverse of madness, because what she's going through, her psychotic break, because that's what it is going to cause the unraveling of the universe and the multiverse and whatnot. And as we go along, we're going to see that her recreations of people who are past are going to change, because we might not, because even say Wolverine comes in, we're not going to get the Hugh Jackman Wolverine. Like we got the Pietro, but we didn't get the Pietro from the MCU. We got the Pietro from the Fox. So it could be vice versa. Like we might get a whole new Hugh Jackman. We might get the new Professor X. We might get Fassbender Magneto instead of getting like the older Magneto or the older Professor X. Like Mystique is probably going to be recast. Like when all this comes together, they're putting it in our minds that, hey, whoever this character is when we bring them in could be different from what you already know.
Facts. Now, Kaiser, I know, have you caught up on any of the episodes? I know you're familiar with the comic book, and you just being familiar with House of M, you've already been able to guess some pretty accurate things from what I've seen.
So no, I haven't watched the last episode just yet. Got off. I was gonna watch it when I got off from work yesterday, and I couldn't get to it. I ended up having to close, so I didn't get a chance to watch it. So I'm pretty.
All good. We got some comments here. So my guy Pierre, the first thing that he said is Wanda's world awakens powers and people like Monica, an apparition of the Hex Men equals X-Men. I like that. That makes kind of sense. It is Mephisto who walks from body to body, Agnes, then Quicksilver. Indeed, Agnes and Quicksilver make references to the devil, but not simultaneously. Here, Agnes no longer owns, so she tries to flee by taking the car. That makes sense, because I actually talked to T. Will about that, and I was like, the whole time I was thinking Agnes is Agatha Harkness, but in this episode, it shows that she's kind of like the townspeople, so it didn't seem like she was in on it. So I like that theory.
I think she was faking.
You think she was faking?
I think she was faking.
Agnes Mephisto was very intrusive up to Vision's doubts in episode 5, which pushed him to change his body. That's interesting. And take the appearance of Pietro that Wanda, not wanting to lose him again, will force Vision to not be suspicious of him.
Goodness.
That's interesting. I've heard some people talk about Mephisto. I've also heard that Nightmare could also be a potential villain in this as well. So that's interesting. I'm gonna pivot to Kaiser for this one. Like, in terms of Mephisto, does that sound like Mephisto that it would be, or does that sound like Nightmare, or who does that sound like that could be potentially the villain? Because they haven't really shown us the villain. They're just having us kind of feel like, okay, somebody else other than just Wanda has to be involved here.
It could be Mephisto. He does have a habit of like interfering with things, especially anything involving magic, which Wanda does use. I don't see Nightmare being a Nightmare. He could be Nightmare. The only thing with him is that like he only kind of messes people when they're asleep. He's prevalent in the dream realm, so more likely to be Mephisto. But that would be an interesting way to lead into, like Delta said, into the movie with Doctor Strange, because Mephisto is one of those enemies that he fight all the time. Him and Nightmare, but Mephisto is a really big problem that kind of like bothers everybody in the Marvel universe.
Yeah, and the other thing that we got in this episode as well is the fact that the kids started to actually get their powers. So one of the kids, he had the Quicksilver kind of powers. The other kid, I'm still trying to understand whether it seemed like he almost had like Professor X powers to me. I don't know. It was like he could hear Vision. He knew that Vision was in pain, but it seemed like it was different from what Wanda kind of had in terms of her powers, because Wanda didn't seem like she could do the same thing. She was just like, tell me where he is. Like, you feel your father in pain, tell me where he is. So I wasn't sure exactly what the power that the other son had was, but maybe Kazi, maybe you might know, because one of them was just had super speed. The other one kind of had some telepathy kind of
telekinesis. But Wanda also has telekinetic powers too.
Yeah, she has limited telekinesis.
Yeah.
Someone had mentioned something in the thread, like the farther away Vision gets from Wanda, the less control she has over the people in the town. I thought that was kind of interesting too.
But I also feel like it's just all part of the plan, as far as like, I mean, it's like Truman Show. It's like you know what I'm saying? Like, you only see the people that's around you.
Right.
So like, if those are the only people that you interact with, you know what I'm saying? Those are the only people that she really is putting her effort into, you know, I guess, animating.
Right. Nah, that's facts. I'm definitely getting huge Truman Show vibes from this show. Like, that's what I first thought immediately. The thing that also threw me off too was the black dude. I can't remember him, but like the one he was hurt. All right, yeah, he was doing the hedging and stuff. He was like, Wanda, is there something that you want me to control? That was kind of like, wow, that he just kind of said that too. Yeah. So I was kind of thrown off by that. Need me to handle this. I'm like, handle what, bro? Handle what? So, you know, for me overall, I thought the episode was dope. I feel like they're still giving us bits and pieces, right? It's not fully like the entire story was really revealed in that. It's like they gave you some pieces, some building blocks, like, hey, this may be how, you know, mutants have come about and stuff like that, but they didn't give you anything like Professor X appearing or, you know, Spider-Man appearing or anything like that. So one thing that I wanted to talk about that I think me and Delta talked about offline and I threw in the group is there have been some leaks to some people that are around the show, right? And even this guy that was right about episode 5 and 6, he said that he didn't want to spoil everything. He said that there's more surprises to come. Like a lot of potential characters might go there. And he said specifically to pay attention to, I think, a certain YouTuber. He said that this guy was in the ballpark. And when I watched this dude, he had a theory that there could be more than just one appearance of someone crossing over from a universe coming in there. So I kind of thought like, and there was another unrelated one, not this exact same person. There's another unrelated theory that they think that the Luke Skywalker scene is going to be Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man showing up sometime in WandaVision. Because he said, like, when you look at the parallels, he was like Luke Skywalker. They brought in a young Luke Skywalker. He was kind of the face of Star Wars, right? And they brought him into the Mandalorian world. And they were like, in order for you to have a big face, who would be the biggest face in just Marvel in general from a movie standpoint? And he was like Tobey Maguire. And he was like, it makes sense because this movie is going to be connected to Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, which is connected to Spider-Man 3, which is going to have all three of the Spider-Man potentially in it. That's what it's been rumored to be. He claims that Tobey Maguire is lying. I mean, not Tobey Maguire, but who's the other
Andrew
kid?
Garfield.
Not Andrew Garfield.
Tom Holland. Then.
Tom Holland is lying when he says that he's not aware of Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield being in Spider-Man 3. He said that that's an outright lie. It's confirmed that they're in there. So he's saying that he thinks that his theory is that Tobey Maguire Spider-Man is going to be the one that shows up in this WandaVision Hex world. And it seems like it could potentially be more than just him. Like James McAvoy's Professor X could show up. Fassbender's Magneto could show up. And the guy that's making this, like the source of everything, he was like, a lot of stuff is going to make sense after the end of WandaVision. He was like, you're going to know the direction that they're going in with the MCU. But right now we don't. And we got three last episodes. And I think another thing that the guy said is they think Deadpool could show up too. He was like, I think we'll see like Deadpool, James McAvoy's Professor X, Fassbender's Magneto, and Tobey Maguire. That would be crazy. that would be insane if they all like just started popping up while the multiverse is breaking. So I just want to get you guys' thoughts on that. Like, do you think it's possible that Tobey Maguire as Spider-Man showing up, does that make sense to y'all?
I don't know if it really makes sense. I'm kind of thinking that we're kind of dancing towards like getting a few more X-Men, just because of like kind of what we talked about. They hinted at it at the beginning of the episode when they were talking about being at the orphanage, which I kind of took as
Yep, that's one thing. So T will talk about that because I didn't catch that until later.
Yeah, like they were walking and she got to talking to Pietro, and she asked him like, who was the kid that used to try to steal your shoes? He had a skin condition at the orphanage. And so I was just kind of just trying to figure out like who, like what X-Men like have skin conditions that we know of for real. Like, I mean, I don't think it was like Mystique because she said it was a he. So I mean, I don't know. So I mean, I don't know. If that's
could be Colossus. It could be talking about Colossus.
Colossus is a good one. He was in the Deadpool universe with Deadpool.
No, it wouldn't be Colossus because he was in the orphanage with them. He was in Russia.
Yeah, see, this is why Kaiser. Who was in the orphanage with them, Kaiser?
So I mean, I can't say for sure about what in the orphanage with them, but if I had to go off of something like that, they could probably like throw in like Toad. Something like that.
Yeah, I was gonna say Toad, but I thought he was an insignificant character though.
He kind of is. It just depends on the story. But I feel like if they're gonna do something like that, they could probably pull like a Toad or maybe like a Blob or someone like that who was a part of like that little group that they were in when they joined Magneto's Brotherhood of Evil Mutants.
Right.
They can spin it like that's how they got connected with that whole thing.
So does that mean that they were in Sokovia? Like, because were they talking about Sokovia or were they?
I don't know when they were talking. I mean, they didn't really say like where the orphanage was, so like I don't know. I just know that they mentioned the orphanage, and it kind of just got me thinking a little bit. Like
they also mentioned their parents too. That was kind of wild.
I want to say they mentioned their parents twice.
So that goes back to what I was saying before with this is Magneto they dad thing. Because remember I was saying last time that like it's a big thing going on in the comics now where like they made where Magneto's may not be their dad like they thought. So is this showing saying Magneto?
The only reason it makes sense is because Pietro and Wanda are what they call Omega 5 level Omega 5 mutants, and so it would only make sense that their father would be, Magneto or somebody of that caliber. But at the same time, they're trying to establish a whole new storyline too, like because this is not the X-Men of Fox. This is the X-Men or the Wandas, the characters of the MCU's version of whatever they're going to be. You know what I mean? So they're probably trying to rewrite a whole lot of things compared to what Fox did, because obviously they're going to have to retcon a lot of things.
Now, I was going to ask you that, Delta, earlier. When it comes down to like, Fox and MCU and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Do you think that we have the Fox Quicksilver like in the show, or is it just like
it's the Fox? Only reason I say this is because one, like if we involve in the multiverse, right? All you're seeing is her version of Pietro, and Pietro. Go ahead, bro.
I was gonna say in the last episode, he said the last time I saw you, I was shot in the street, and then I came to you, which made people say that this isn't the Fox version of him. It's the Fox actor, but it sounded like because when he got killed by Ultron and he shot down in the street, that's where he died at. So some people are saying it is that MCU one, but it's just the actor from Fox playing him.
But I'm saying this: the multiverse is unraveling in some point, so that's why you get the Fox version instead of the MCU version. You see what I'm saying? Like whatever is going on with the multiverse and whatnot is causing rifts not only in what is in Wanda's mind, but what we see coming out of the Hex.
So if we see Spider-Man show up, why couldn't it be Tobey Maguire?
It would be Tobey Maguire because it'd be a split or a tear and what would be the re-rendering of
right, because it's re-rendered to her hex.
It's re-rendered to her hex.
That's what makes sense with her hex, because it can rewrite whatever. Whenever somebody comes into it, it can rewrite what they look like and stuff like that. So and we saw that too when the hex went out. That was funny too, because I forget what her name is, but she was like OF, and she was about to say the F word, but when she went into the WandaVision thing, it turned into her saying fudge instead of the F word, because everything re-rendered.
It's almost like a Bizarro type thing, you know what I mean?
But let me throw this wrinkle out. So remember, he said, Pietro kept saying that like, you know, your husband can't die twice or die 3 times or whatever he was saying.
Right.
Like, didn't Vision die after he died? So he, like, if it was you know what I'm saying?
That's a good, yeah.
So it's like, you know, like, that's what I'm saying. Like, is it the Fox one, or is it just like, you know, like because like, okay, if she brought him out of the Fox, you know, universe or whatever, like, and she gave him like her memory of, like, you know, what's going on now, or like in her memory of, like, him in the MCU, you know what I'm saying? Like,
the worlds are crossing. That's the whole point. The worlds are crossing. So you get the Pietro with the memories of Wanda that we know from the MCU, but his face comes out. What we see and what she see is the Pietro from the Fox version. You know what I'm saying?
And what's crazy, just like they did with Vision, when she looked at him and she saw him dead as like the Gray Vision.
Exactly. Yeah.
I mean, he was dead as well. Another thing that I wanted to follow up on is there was another thing that was dropped there. If you wasn't really paying attention, she talked about, and it was something about I'm gonna speak to like an aerospace specialist. A lot of people are thinking that could be Richards. A lot of people are saying, is that gonna be, you know, him and their introduction into the MCU in terms of the Fantastic Four? Everybody wants to see this. This is the other thing I wasn't thinking about. We also have Skrulls now. It's been established from Captain Marvel and in the Spider-Man movie, right? That wasn't Nick Fury. That was Talos in disguise there. There's people online saying there might be some Skrulls in here. Like, people who are on there may not be who we think they are, because there's also Skrulls. So there's that side of it too. And someone was saying, oh, this could be something about the secret invasion. Like, somebody could be in there that's a Skrull that didn't want to go in or something like that. So that's the other part of it too, that I'm not even thinking about Skrulls, but I gotta be aware that their presence is now in the MCU. You can't trust everybody. You don't know.
I definitely ain't trusting that director dude.
Director of Sword?
What is he up to?
The director of Sword is up to something. I mean, it was already some tension between him and Monica, because technically Monica's supposed to be the leader, and now him and Monica are butting heads all the time. It seems like something's weird with him, bro, because now it's a whole bunch of energy on him going at Monica, and it wasn't that at the beginning. Now it's like, you get out of here, like something. And there was, like, when she was going through and hacking in, she said there's something else that he's up to that I'm trying to figure out. Did she figure it out, or did she get sucked in before she actually got to figure out what the top secret stuff he was looking into was? So that's the only thing. That's the only thing for me. But this is a crazy story right now, bro. Like, I don't know. Like, the reason to me that it makes sense is if Spider-Man 3 is supposed to be connected to this.
Murph, man, we said spoilers, man. Get out of here if you
Murph,
don't want to hear the spoilers.
Hey, if you want to watch this, Murph, you can. If you don't want to hear spoilers. Right now, we're just kind of talking about theories, but there are some spoilers in there. Right. But yeah, it would just be crazy, bro. Like, if Professor X or Magneto just show up, it's gonna be crazy. Because technically, if we're talking Fox, Quicksilver has alluded in that one that Fassbender Magneto is his dad. He was like, oh, like my mom used to know a guy that could do that. Like, that was saying, all right, that's his dad in that rendition. Is that his dad in this rendition? That I don't know. The other thing I want to bring up is, if I'm not mistaken, and Kaja, you may know this, from a contract standpoint, those Fox actors from First Class are still contracted for other movies, right? So I don't know if they can just get rid of them and recast people. So this could be a dope way of involving them.
Yo, look at Murph like comment at the
Oh, they
bottom.
Oh no, they can definitely get rid of them.
Scrolls was written down on the whiteboard on episode 3 or 4, bruh.
See,
Somebody is a scroll up in here, bruh.
I think it's the director,
bro.
I think it's the director. I ain't even gonna
The
lie
other
to
thing
you.
too is because I'm glad I'm doing the MCU rewatch at this time. I've seen people online saying that it could be Talos's daughter. Remember his daughter that they saved in Captain Marvel? Like now she could be older now because you got to think that was set in the 90s, just like with Monica Rambeau. When we saw her in the 90s, she was a little kid. Now she's an adult. Somebody, I don't know, bro. Something is off, bro. Something is off, bro. I don't know what it is. I can't put my finger on it, but this is about to get nuts. The other thing is, I know we talked about Falcon and Winter Soldier. I did some snooping around. There's going to be Omega Red is going to appear in that. Okay. So Omega Red is going to be in Falcon and Winter Soldier, bro. Like it's no secret either. Like he's going to be in it. So there's going to be some X-Men kind of vibes over there. Omega Red is in there. They haven't said who else, but Omega Red is in that show, which is going to be nuts.
To go back, I meant to tell you. So if I'm not mistaken, though, ABC/Disney/Marvel acquired Fox, right?
Yes.
So did they acquire their contracts too?
That's what I'm saying. I think they did, bro. I don't think you could just be like Fassbender is signed off for 3 other things like we can't use. I think they have to use, which I mean, I love Fassbender's Magneto. I think a lot of people like him, but I think there's certain actors that are still signed in contracts with Fox. Like I don't think Jennifer Lawrence is. That's why she died in the last. She was tired of doing the Mystique role, right? So that's why she died in Dark Phoenix. So she's done. She's out of there. Yeah, she was trash anyway. But they've got McAvoy, I think, still signed on. You know, they still got him signed on. So I think in a sense, they still have to use those actors, which is perfect in my opinion for those guys, because that's what the MCU does anyway. They get notable actors and put them in those roles, right? So I don't think that they would have a problem with Fassbender and McAvoy. Now, when you get to like Storm and all of that, I don't know if they're cool with who they already have at Storm. I think the same with Wolverine. I think his contract, Hugh Jackman is done playing the character.
Yeah.
But there's been a lot of like, this is what you also have to think of, bro. The original Fox X-Men, way back in the day, the one that was in like 1999. You have to remember Kevin Feige was on that project.
Yeah.
That's where
and the Last Stand.
Right, and Kevin Feige loves the X-Men, and like he came over to the MCU. So there's probably like he's probably going to take his time with it because they're going to introduce Fantastic Four first. We got Blade and all of that, but you know that he wants to use the X-Men, and I'm really excited to see how he's going to incorporate them in here with the contracts and with all of that. I think that they're doing a dope kind of thing with it right now because it's like he already tried. So we talked about Patrick Stewart, right? Wow. Someone said Patrick Stewart did meet with Kevin Feige, but he turned him down because he was like, if we wouldn't have done Logan, that wouldn't have put a wrap on that character. So he was like,
I have a problem with that, bro. I have a problem with that, but go ahead.
I mean, I do too. Honestly, this is the other thing though. A lot of people are saying like Hugh Jackman, they can't see anybody else playing Wolverine.
Well, that's not only that, you got to think about we're dealing with unraveling of a multiverse. Anything could happen.
Showed up, that would be nuts, bro. Like I don't even care if you just gave me like 2 minutes of Hugh Jackman in the MCU and he gets blown away and we get a new Wolverine. That would be insane, bro. Like that would be nuts. But I don't think he's gonna do it because, and it just depends, right? Like, because we got all of this technology now. Technically, we got CGI to make Princess Leia still be alive, even though the actress, RIP to her, has been gone. Could they do something like that with Hugh Jackman? I don't know. He said the reason that he doesn't like playing Wolverine anymore is because he's too old. He can't get his body into shape. I don't know if they could do something with CGI to make his body like that, but
Man, watch what they're gonna do. They're gonna make Chris Evans Wolverine.
Possibility that Hugh Jackman is showing up because I don't even want to be disappointed. Because
they're gonna make Chris Evans a Wolverine now, bro. Watch.
That would be insane. He's already been the Human Torch, Captain America. Can't be Wolverine too. He can't be Wolverine too. Kaiser, what are your thoughts, bro? I know Kaiser or T. Will. I know we just over here rambling. What are your thoughts on what we're talking about right now?
It's interesting. There's a lot of stuff that can go into it. But what you're saying about them recasting actors, they might keep like the ones they like the most. Like I would say, like the young lady who played Storm, like she did a really good job. But as far as like the rest of those people, if they didn't particularly care for them, they could just go ahead and sweep them under the rug and just recast the whole thing. But they probably want to keep a little bit of familiarity with the people that they cast to bring over. So we might not see that big of a cast change. Cause I felt like even though like the movies, the X-Men movies weren't that good, I felt like a lot of the casting was spot on to the people. So that's the thing with it. So I mean, like if they can bring all those people over and reuse them, that'd be good because it's not their fault that the movie wasn't good, and a lot of them did fit those images of those characters extremely well.
Right, 100%. So
that'd be really cool. But I know, like you said that Hugh Jackman said he didn't want to play the anymore. I could have sworn that him and Ryan Reynolds had I don't know if he was just joking, but he was like he would come back if something about Ryan Reynolds. I think like something about a movie with Ryan Reynolds or something like that. But he said that he would come back if Ryan Reynolds was involved in if they could get like the movie rights, if they can get the X-Men to come to the MCU.
Yeah, he said that a while ago, and now he's like reneging. He was like, "Bruh, if the MCU can get the rights to the X-Men, I'll come back." And now he's like reneging, like we got the rights. Why can't we get them back?
But that might be a smoke screen. See that might be a smoke screen. You know what I'm saying? That was perfect timing. It might be a smoke screen.
I feel like what's happening is Ryan Reynolds will bully him into taking it to the party again. Because you know they got
bro, like
you know that relationship. He was like, hey, Hugh, so you know, I'm gonna be in the MCU. Why don't you come join me? He was like, nah, you know, Ryan, I'm too old. I can't do it. You know how Ryan Reynolds says, "Hey, come on, man. You know you want to do it. Come on."
And that's the thing. I think like you made a great point there, Kaiser. He's got Ryan Reynolds. The other thing is him and Kevin Feige. I think Kevin Feige might have been the person that cast him as Wolverine. There's got to be some kind of advantage in them being like, "Come on, bro. Like
what?"
We just saw Robert De Niro, Al Pacino, and all of these guys in a Netflix movie get aged back down. And all of this technology, but they can't do it for Wolverine.
But if they don't use him,
they gave us Luke Skywalker 40 years later.
I mean, but if they don't, if they don't use him, they can always use old boy from The Boys, who played Billy the Butcher.
The Boys, Billy the Butcher. That makes sense.
Because he makes.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah. I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Just like they said that
Star Wars movie too.
Just like with Star Wars, just like in Star Wars, they said that if they couldn't get which car was too old to play Luke now, they want to get Sebastian Shaw to play Luke, which is a good recap.
Oh, they trying to get Carl Urban to play him. Aramir from Lord of the Rings.
I'm good with whatever they do. I think the A+ move though that you knock it out of the park with is Hugh Jackman. If he could do it. If he can't, then I like who you suggested from The Boys or someone else. But man,
I could see Carl Urban playing Wolverine now that you say.
I'm gonna just say this though. The First Class, X-Men First Class. I loved Days of Future Past. I hated Apocalypse. Hated Dark Phoenix.
Like Days of Future Past, I liked Apocalypse, and I like First Class.
Apocalypse, them making him look like Ivan Ooze, that was disrespectful, bro. That was disrespectful, bro. Like him being a regular size, like I was salty at that. But they put Gambit in that movie though, right?
You said what?
They did put Gambit in that movie, right? In Apocalypse.
I don't think so. I don't remember.
Nah, the
He was in
dude
one of
from
the early ones, wasn't he?
Battleship played Gambit in the what was that in the First Class movie? Was it the First Class movie? Yeah,
I
You
thought that was
talking
the
about
very
X-Men
first X-Men
Origins?
movie that he played in.
X-Men Origins. That's what it was. That's what it was.
Horrible. We're not gonna talk about that, but
I mean, they ain't give him a chance, man. He had like 2 parts, bro.
But yeah, once they got to X-Men Apocalypse, I was like, nah, y'all tripping. Like X-Men First Class, I felt like they had some, especially because originally X-Men First Class was supposed to be X-Men Origins Magneto, but they decided to kind of scrap it, but they turned it into First Class. That's why First Class seems like a Magneto movie. That's why it's all about kind of Michael Fassbender. So I like that first one, but yeah, after Days of Future Past, it was kind of.
I like Days. You didn't like Days of Future Past? Oh, okay. I was gonna say I did.
I just didn't like X-Men Apocalypse or
Dark Phoenix.
What's crazy is I hate that I'm gonna say this because y'all gonna flame me in the comments. Before I knew better, I actually kind of liked Last Stand, but that everybody hates X-Men Last Stand, and they were talking about.
I like Last Stand from an action perspective.
Yeah,
from a story perspective, no.
From a story perspective, it was horrible. It was horrible.
It was terrible.
I think they all was pretty bad, even the first one.
Nah, were you talking about the very first X-Men?
Yeah, from a story perspective.
Nah, bruh. The first one, the second one was Trill. That Nightcrawler intro.
Oh, Nitro?
No, that's not the first one, is it?
That's the second one.
Yeah, that's the second one. That's not the first one yet.
Like
the first one was when they had Rogue do the mutant amplifier shit, bro.
They didn't do the right thing with Rogue. Like Rogue actually got the white hair though. Isn't that how she got the white hair in the comics? That's not.
Nah,
it wasn't from Magneto.
Nah, she always had it.
She always had the white hair.
Even in the old cartoon from back in the day that used to come on Fox, she had it.
But it makes sense now. Like Kaiser, we've talked about because I didn't know the full extent to where Rogue got her powers, and I went back and actually watched it in the animated series too, and it was the same way you said. Rogue actually got her powers from Captain Marvel.
Yeah,
Miss Marvel.
Same thing. No, according to the MCU, it's the same thing now.
Not same thing.
It was Carol Danvers though. It was Carol Danvers.
Yeah. Captain Marvel, Miss Marvel.
That'd be dope if like Rogues, like we get the real Rogue. Because I hated that Rogue that we got from Fox. That Rogue was trash.
That was Rogue.
That was a little kid Rogue. That was a kid Rogue.
She had to build up to be that Rogue that we saw because, like I said, she didn't always start off with those powers.
Yeah.
They made her like Jubilee though, bro.
Jubilee. They played Jubilee though, bro. In the animated series.
Jubilee, she was in like a deleted scene.
I'm talking about the animated series.
Jubilee was an animated because Jubilee wasn't even a real character until the animated series. She was an animated exclusive character that they put into the comics and stuff like that. So Rogue actually filled that spot of Jubilee until they made Jubilee in the animated series because they wanted to use the fully developed Rogue. Instead of but
now Captain Marvel, Miss Marvel, same thing.
I actually like the premise of the first one, like making Rogue the focal point of being a misfit, because that's basically what the mutants are, misfits, out of place, and she was a perfect focal point for that. But then it started turning to the Wolverine show, and then you know how it went from there.
True.
Hey, I love it. I love the animated. You didn't like? Wait. Time out. You didn't like the animated series, Kaiser?
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought you would say you didn't like it. Okay.
That is, for me, that's what I kind of go by. I can't say that it's over the comics because obviously, the comics are where it starts, but like that's where I kind of most of my memories and most of my perspective comes from the Marvel 90s animated series from back in the day. So you talking about Spider-Man, you talking about the X-Men, Incredible Hulk from back then. All of my stuff that I can remember that I pulled from comes from there. But obviously there were other comics that came before that. That's why I'm doing deep dives now into the comics from the 80s. And I want to get into the modern ones that me and Kaiser are talked about. Because Kaiser made me hip to like Miles Morales way before I even knew who he was. All kind of people like him telling me about how Cyclops turned evil. This was like to me, like I always hated Cyclops. Like he was always corny to me because on the show it's like nah.
Only thing he was good in is Marvel vs. Capcom.
You crazy.
Marvel vs. Capcom was the only thing he was good in up until recently.
Hate need to stop. Cyclops is like, listen.
He only good in Marvel vs. Capcom, bro.
Like Cyclops.
A lot of people don't like Cyclops because he's straight laced, you know, that type of person. But a lot of people don't realize that when it came to the comics, no one was touching Cyclops. Like no X-Men, no matter what they were, was beating Cyclops. Cyclops fought.
Yeah, that's why he was good in Marvel vs. Capcom.
Anyway, man, listen, Cyclops was that dude. He was that dude.
Magneto, though. What's up?
What you said?
He ain't touching Magneto. What's up?
What? He gave Magneto hands too.
Is Cyclops glasses made of metal? Then he got him.
What's up? And Cyclops, what's up?
Listen, man. Anybody who not like that Omega level alpha level,
Omega 5 mutant. No, his brother is though. Alex Summers is.
Nah, Alex not Omega either. They got a third brother named Vulcan who's Omega level.
Oh, that's what I'm talking about. My bad.
And then the thing about that is like Alex and Scott can't hurt each other because their powers bounce off each other. But Vulcan, he ain't got none of that.
They claiming. Hold on, let me fact check this. Nah, they were just hold on. They said Storm is Omega level.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, Storm trashing Cyclops too. What's up?
I mean, Storm. Right. This is why they don't use Storm a lot in the MCU. I mean, in the Fox, because for real, she's a cheat code, bro. She's a cheat code. Like she is in real life, she's OP. If you look at her powers just on a broad spectrum, she's OP, bro.
She is, but her powers are very like situational. Like, I mean, she's powerful. Like she's Omega because her powers can basically change the planet's natural order.
Right.
But in terms of like on a mission base, she's not really that useful. But she's a good leader and she's excellent hand-to-hand combat. I think she's like second, third best next to Cyclops and Wolverine. Gotcha. But in terms of like usefulness on a regular mission, she's not really that useful because you're not gonna really. She could like create like a cloud to like give them some coverage for stealth missions, but you ain't gonna really need nobody throwing down thunder strikes here and there.
Just because she's OP. She's OP.
Here's the list right here. They say the most powerful one is Jean Grey, which not a surprise. They say
she's not a mutant though.
Second, they say Franklin Richards. Third, they say Kid Omega. 4 is Legion. 5 is Storm. 6 is Magneto. 7 is Hope Summers. 8 is Mr. M. 9 is Iceman. That's news to me. 10,
he is a level 5. Yeah, he is a level 5.
11 is Vulcan. 12 is Monarch. 13 is Elixir. 14 is Proteus.
Mm-hmm. You can actually switch out Jean Grey and Hope because Hope technically doesn't. Hope's powers are basically similar to Rogue's, with the added benefit that she not only takes people's powers, but she can basically make their power at their absolute fullest. Like let's say like your power is like you can be like telepathy, but because she's also a potential. Her and Kid Omega. Those two are potential avatars for Phoenix. That's why they're Omega level. Even though Omega is an Omega level telepath,
right?
He only gets that level because he starts taking a drug, I think called heat or something like that, amplifies powers. So they kind of like shake you with some of those people. Right. I would definitely say that when it comes, and this is my own personal preference, to any combo people I know, please don't crucify me, please. But I never saw the height with Jean because she was only so powerful when she became
the Dark Phoenix. Yeah.
But other than that, she just has basic telepathy and telekinesis, not even on like the same level as Charles.
Right.
So that's the thing with that. Elixir is pretty good. You're probably not gonna see him too soon, but he has the ability to kill you or poison you on a molecular level.
Gotcha.
So if you got like cancer, you got like anything crazy like that, he can basically wipe all that out. He can basically restore your body back to its pinnacle prime. It's crazy. A lot of those people on there are pretty cool.
Yeah, for sure. I just don't agree with the Jean Grey, like you said, because Jean Grey, technically the Dark Phoenix is not a part of her mutation.
It's not. And I think
she's technically an alien. So the Dark Phoenix is technically an alien.
No. The Phoenix is a cosmic entity. It's a
that's what I'm saying. An alien. I mean, it's not her genetic. It's not from her genetic mutation.
Hasn't the Phoenix always been like almost in her unlocked? Like that's her unlocking her power, right? Or is that just something that they made up?
Yeah, it's what they made up for the movies. The Phoenix is literally a cosmic entity that's existed before humans.
Gotcha.
Right.
It just floats through the
it found a host in Jean Grey.
But the thing
has it ever found a host in someone else?
Yeah. Her daughter, Rachel Summers, Kid Omega.
Before Jean Grey.
Huh?
Anybody before Jean Grey?
A lot of people. They're not important, but a lot of people, because when she went to the White Hot Room, it had all the previous avatars of the Phoenix there too. So there have been people who've been the avatar of the Phoenix before her. But I think that she's just the most attuned to it.
Okay,
right.
So
for sure.
One of Professor X's original X-Men, her powers proved to be fiercely strong even as a young girl, gifted with various psychotic abilities. Charles Xavier felt compelled to hide the true extent of her power from her, locking some of her abilities away from her mind. This is without the Phoenix, bro.
Because she
even with her true potential power held back, she proved to be an incredible telepath and telekinetic. Her empathetic powers were so impressive that it drew the Phoenix Force to her to unlock the full extent of her powers, enhancing her abilities. Yeah. She was already a level 5 mutant before the Phoenix, bro. She is like, that's what I remember too.
My thing is, she's
like being like, I'm not gonna.
But you never get to see any of those aspects of her powers besides only when she has you only see that when she has the Phoenix Force. That's why I said like I don't necessarily.
She's dangerous, bro.
Not saying she's not, but you got to think before Charles had his accident with his spine,
right?
He would have been a more likely host than Jean Grey would have been.
She's more powerful than him, bro. That's what I'm. It's always been a point where she was more powerful than him. And think about how powerful he is. Like think about like in Logan where he had like those mental issues, and because he did that, he killed all of those. That's what I think Jean would do because he doesn't feel like Jean can control her powers. Like she could do something on that kind of catastrophic level because she can't control them.
Yeah,
and I think that's why he was so worried and tried to put those parameters in place for her because he was scared if she realizes her full power, she could kill everybody.
Yeah, Charles, because I think Charles on that alpha level mutant. Him and Emma Frost are like on the same level, and Jean is a strong telepath. But like I said, like the only thing with Jean is that like you never get to see her use the full extent of her powers. I mean, like even any type of capacity until she gets the Phoenix Force, which I get that. But her daughter Rachel Summers is just as powerful as she is with the Phoenix, without the Phoenix Force and with the Phoenix Force. Then you got like her kids with Scott, X-Men, aka Nate Gray, and Cable, who are like Nate Gray is like dumb. Nate Gray at one point was said to be equal to Franklin Richards at one point in time. And Franklin Richards is the most powerful being in Marvel.
I'm still mad we never got Storm to see the extent of Storm's powers, bro. Like, we need to see that.
Because she's OP. We're not going to see it. We're not going to see it.
They gave a taste of her powers when she fought against, I think, the Silver Surfer.
Mm-hmm.
And he took her into he took her to another planet, a planet that had no life on it. And she was able to basically give that planet an atmosphere and change the fundamental.
Yeah, bro, she's OP.
Yeah, bro, she OP, bro. That's why they don't use her as much. Because she's OP.
Hit him with a fat cosmic storm lightning, boy. Just vroom.
What up, Trey? Will I see you trying to hop in?
I was gonna ask though, with it being, you know what I'm saying, what we talking about anyway.
Yeah.
Where does Wanda fit in as far as strength?
Bro, she an Omega 5.
Yeah, she Omega level 2.
Yeah.
So, would you say that like maybe she might break this whole thing off in her mind and create like an X-Men like island or some crazy shit, like her own little?
So listen, so this is what the series is. That the series is literally based off a comic series called House of M, where that exact thing happened.
Right.
She has a mental breakdown, and she doesn't kill. She basically warps reality to the point that like she warps in reality basically
for the whole world.
For the whole world. And at the end of the comics, she's so powerful. At the end of the comics, she just says no more mutants, and she depowers like 98% of the mutant population.
Right.
Oh, okay. So, damn. So, I don't know.
Well, go ahead. Just ask.
My heart if they gave us all this, all the X-Men, and it's
so that list that I gave y'all apparently is the official people that are Omega mutants from Marvel. They finally, apparently, like 2 years ago, they finally revealed who. So all of those ones that I named, those are officially Omega level mutants.
And they still left out a good bit of people too.
Yeah, because definitely the Scarlet Witch should be on there for sure.
Yeah.
You also got like
maybe they might look at her as in the Avenger. Who knows? It's hard to
have people like Mad Jim Jaspers who fought against like I don't know if you guys know about Captain Britain.
Yeah,
no, I don't.
There's Captain America, then there's Captain Britain.
Yeah.
And Captain Britain. Okay, I thought you said something else. My bad.
He can warp reality too. They probably need to take Franklin off of that list because they just said that he's not a mutant anymore. He just made himself a mutant, but he's not a mutant. So I don't know how he kind of fits in things anymore. Like I said, he's just so broken at this point that we need his own category. You also have like someone you said about Iceman. You know, Iceman was a Omega level. So what happened was this: Emma Frost took his body and realized that he can literally turn all the water on the entire planet to ice and freeze the planet over. Like so Omega level mutant is classified as a being whose powers can change the natural order of a planet or warp reality / blase blase blase.
Right.
Gotcha. Okay, so a lot
that's
of people
why you gotta say. That's why I say Charles is an Omega to me.
He's only alpha level because he can. His telepathy is amplified by Cerebro.
Yeah, I know that. Yeah.
But besides that, he's not. He's only alpha level. He's still powerful, but you still have people like Emma Frost who are just as powerful as he is. So
yeah.
So the other thing is a lot of people, there was the episode or there was the commercial on the last episode of WandaVision where they had the Yo Magic. And it's like someone deserted on the castaway on the island. Someone gives them
Sounds very familiar.
They can't open it to save them from dying. So I just read up on that and they said this time around it's symbolic because it represents Wanda's inability to tap into her powers to defeat death. Like she can stop a whole bunch of stuff with her powers, but she can't stop death. And a lot of people were like, what was up with the Yo Magic commercial? So that's apparently what that was supposed to symbolize.
Yeah, go ahead, bro.
I feel like the Yo Magic commercial might have just been like almost about Vision. Like he can do everything else and he can still survive, but at the end of the day he gonna die because he ain't gonna have the magic to stay alive.
Don't forget Agnes reminded him, she was like, am I dead or something? Because you died.
Yeah. But my thing is like, okay, I still can't wrap my mind behind this. If Tony Stark undid the snap, why didn't Vision come back? Somebody had to explain that to me.
Yo, fam. I'm sorry, I'm not trying to derail this.
Yeah.
But I just saw this on an Easter eggs point, and I was not aware that this was shown. Look at this. There's a brief glimpse of a Spider-Man-like outfit.
Carnage.
Those guys are definitely Spider-Man, my G.
Mm-hmm.
Bruh. I don't know if y'all want to see these things. All right. Obviously, we talked about how Monica, they said that it was transforming her. So they were saying that that's an Easter egg because it's the interdimensional energy that turns her into photon. They talked about Agnes remembering Vision's fate. Let's see. There's a mention of Shangri-La, which is Marvel Mystery Comics was linked to Vision. I don't even know who that is.
I've never heard of that guy.
All right. They're talking about the Incredibles. Obviously, when he has his accent disappears when he forgets himself, suggesting he is the Fox version.
Yeah.
There was that joke too. She was like, "Where's your accent?" And he was like, "Where is yours?" Because people always joked about Wanda losing her accent from the Age of Ultron movie. Then on, she never has an accent anymore. So that was the one about the Yo Magic joint.
On scale of 1 to 10, rate Age of Ultron.
Billy and Tommy developed their powers from the comics. Age of Ultron, I'm gonna say a 6. That's just me.
I say it 2.
I was gonna give it a 7, but
Hairstyle straight from the comics. That's true to the comics.
I ain't gonna cap. If it's one of these MCU movies, it's not going below a 7 for me. Just because they're giving me shit from my childhood. So
Age of Ultron was bad to me, bro. They could have picked a different story, in my opinion. But I get it.
Wanda sees a vision, reminded her of. Okay, we did see that. Quicksilver shows a little too much knowledge. How does he know what happened to Vision? That's facts.
He knows because it's her rendering of the like her memories.
No, that's what I was asking. Like,
that's what T. Will pointed out. How did he even know? Because he died before Vision. Vision died. So how would he know that?
Because it's her mind. Her mind is controlling everything, but she doesn't have the wherewithal to know that she is controlling everything.
Right.
That's why she needed her son. Her son is almost like an amplifier for her. Like, hey, look, listen, hold up. Where your pops at? All right, I can connect from you through him.
That's a really good one. Are the kids real? Are the kids even real?
No. Yes and no. Yes and no. They're in an alternate universe where she did actually have kids. Leave,
are they gonna die like Vision did, or start to die like Vision did?
It depends on what happens once the multiverse unravels and comes back together.
So I think that's a good spot to stop at. We got a lot of stuff out there. We talked about X-Men. We talked about WandaVision and all of that. Appreciate you guys for stopping by. Obviously, we're going to be coming with more and more content. So we'll start getting into other things, Star Wars, Game of Thrones. I know that these gentlemen, I'm going to say this right now, these gentlemen are way more knowledgeable about Game of Thrones than I am. So I would love to have them talk about that. I'm a Game of Thrones fan as well. So we're going to talk about some of the prequels and stuff like that. But this has been the Content Blurs, and thank you for listening.